right, and we are live with the One More podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to the One More podcast, the weekly, well, semi-weekly podcast about Persona 4 Arena and all things about it. I'm Vibrating Sheep.
That's a bro.
And I'm Koopa.
And we had to skip last week due to some family commitments, but it's okay, we're back this week, guys. Thanks for coming back every time. And so we've got a lot of questions on our slate today. Should we just dive right into it, or do you guys have anything to talk about before we go in?
I'm perfectly fine with just diving into the questions.
Okay. So we're a month into the game, and a lot of people here are still discovering the game and discovering the characters and things like that. But we do want to talk about a follow-up to one of our earlier questions, which was about tier lists and why we shouldn't really trust them in week one. And this is going to be about character evolution, because over time, styles will change, metagames will change, characters will go up, characters will go down as they're discovered. And so we're going to be talking about people characters, who have done this, and characters that we think will go through this. Does anybody want to start on this one?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, as we have probably all noticed, fighting game tier lists early on in the game are just never, ever accurate whatsoever. I think a good example of this is actually the previous iteration of Persona 4 Arena, where Akihiko was comfortably one of the worst characters in the game, but then a Blockstring Infinite was discovered for him that made him like one of the best characters in the game. So there's just too much potential for discovery where we're not sure about the character's cap yet. So be very careful trusting early tier lists. I have actually a pretty good example of this myself. Liz is considered to be quite a weak character in general. She has strong damage output, but she's considered a bit erratic in terms of her consistency. But a very popular streamer from Japan, at Jayuna JP, has expressed an opposing viewpoint to that, and with it provided some videos of like one of the best Liz players I've ever seen. And I was actually caught saying on Fraud Free Friday that I thought Liz was not that good either. But a couple people brought up to me that Jayuna was saying otherwise. I got really interested because I'm actually the kind of guy who would like to refute the tier list early anyway. So I appreciate that at Jayuna JP is willing to express a different viewpoint with good evidence for it.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Jayuna, by the way, because he is one of the most prolific streamers of Persona 4.
He's amazing.
He really likes putting out technology for everybody. He's kind of like James Shea in that regard. He's also a giant troll. For those of you who haven't seen his Dacid Bro-based map of Japan, you should go take a look at that.
Yes. And if you haven't heard about Hurt Nana beating the SBO champ, you should also check that out.
Yes, he beat him in a best of one, which therefore means that he's better than the SBO champ.
Exactly, in the one match that counted.
Exactly.
I love that guy, really.
He's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, actually, after I heard about that, I immediately tweeted Hurt Nana on Twitter and said, "Yo, you're my SBO hero."
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy.
But anyway, getting back on topic. So yeah, Elizabeth is a character where people did kind of analysis at the beginning and went, okay, this character does a ton of damage, but she's made of paper and she's got some holes that we were exploiting early. Okay. There was that whole thing where she can barely attack diagonally. She can't do air to ground or ground to air very well without doing a couple of gimmicks, right? Mm-hmm. And so, that play that Dacid was talking about, it's like, wow, it's like that hole was never there.
Yeah, her crouching B is much better than I realized.
It's something to throw out there when people jump for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm hoping that Liz might end up being kind of like Viper, in the sense that people don't know all the technology yet, and that she's going to be further developed and become A tier, maybe even S tier. Well, actually, I wouldn't want S tier. That's too much for me. But
don't worry about that. Her defensive options are a bit too weak for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. That's what's keeping Naoto down too. Like Naoto has the only infinite in the game, but will still be, low for a while.
Ironically,
until defense gets better.
Ironically, it's not even an infinite. It's just a very, very, very high damage loop.
Right.
It's effectively an infinite for the purposes of it kills the highest health character in the game.
When
not
you have
always, though.
You have the correct setup.
That's true.
Right. That said, actually, let's just move on to Naoto, because she's a great example of this, isn't she?
Yeah, because early on, like, she was bad. you're like, this character can't wake up. This character can't,
Doesn't have the best normals in the game, for example.
Yeah.
And then
The normals are actually just outright bad in general.
like the Persona normals are just, they don't cover any kind of real space either. Really dependent on zoning that can get very predictable. That kind of thing.
Well, I wouldn't say it's that her normals don't cover correct spacing. It's that the hurt box on them is almost the same as her hitbox, so she extends her hurt box as she does it. It's kind of weird and wonky, but I checked.
Yeah, like you can trade with her 5C and 2C really easily,
which is
even
nice.
at max range.
Exactly.
It's very bizarre.
But yeah, about Naoto, she doesn't have the strongest wake up options. Her normals aren't the greatest, and her ways to open you up are pretty reduced to frame trap and throw. Sadly, but how she became better was the discovery of the SMP loop. And does anyone have that definition memorized so they can explain it to the stream?
Single move proration.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is an intentional design decision in Arc System Works games. Sorry, Dacid, go ahead and pick it up.
Well, this specific glitch is actually the absence of SMP. So what it is after the 10th hit in a combo, I don't entirely understand why. After you've used 10 unique moves in the combo, the 10th hit and on will not trigger same move proration, which means that you can use the same move over and over again, and it won't have the normal loop deterioration that is programmed in the game to prevent this exact kind of combo. So it's this elaborate, ironic thing where the SMP loop is actually the absence of same move proration and lets you loop the kicks in a way that was completely unintended, but is somehow kind of balanced.
Right.
SMP loops were in BlazBlue, but they required 2 gold bursts. So
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is there's actually a way to use it for Noelle without 2 gold bursts, but people didn't discover it until they discovered it for Naoto, and then they went back to BlazBlue and realized the SMP loop exists in this game as well.
Yep. I guess the funny thing, it's kind of like Hokuto no Ken, the infinite prevention system created Infinites. And it made it into Japanese Marvel, essentially.
It made it into basketball. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Have you seen those combo videos where you jab and the guy flies off the screen, and then he comes down and you jab him again, he goes flying even further up? It's amazing and terrible at the same time.
Shut up and jam no Ken.
So,
seriously.
Let's go ahead and talk about Naoto a little bit more. How about style changes and metagame changes in the future? Do you see anything that could possibly trigger that for Naoto, or do you think she's tapped out?
Well, Naoto does have a strong following because, Naoto's tournament proven now.
Okay.
You guys saw, well, you were the one who were most interested with SBO. And Naoto got, I believe, 3rd place?
Correct. The only Naoto that qualified.
Yeah.
And, that's, people keep saying, it's like, yeah, this character is really good and all, but someone's got to prove it in tournament. Well, someone has. This character is supposedly bad, and someone has gone out there, put the tournament on the line, repping this character, and taken 3rd place.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to call the character bad after the inclusion of the SMP loop, but it's difficult to say whether or not the character will be consistent, because you do need meter for this. It does mean that Naoto's gameplay is going to shift from zoning to
meter-based combos, right?
To meter-based combos, yeah. In a lot of cases, you'll be just aiming for that one gold burst, maybe footsies, maybe reversal. But gold burst is a huge part of Naoto now, and that was not the case before.
Right. And also, interesting thing is, if you see Naoto play as it evolved, Naoto's now actually legitimately use AAA just to get the meter, and they don't care about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They use AA and then take a safe jump.
Exactly. Sorry, what were you going to say, Dom?
I was also going to say that I believe James Shea recently posted that there's no way to safe jump Naoto's counter, which would make, Naoto's defensive options way better, if that's true.
I have heard that. I don't know if I can confirm it, but I've heard the hit stop on the counter is enough to keep a safe jump from working.
Right. I think you use BD and take the close shot version instead of the far shot version. So that's something to add on if you recognize a safe jump setup.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's definitely a change from zoning to close up. That's probably going to be the case. Are there any other characters that you think might have a style or metagame change in the future? Anyone that you think is considered, not so great?
I think a character that has shown incredible growth is Akihiko.
Okay.
Where he was considered to be kind of underwhelming, and is actually still considered kind of underwhelming by a very large populace. but I don't think it's possible to deny the success that Kubo has had with the character. Where there are people who are just willing to write it off as Kubo being really, really good, but the way he's playing the character just shows a solidity that kind of is undeniable. I mean, the way Kubo plays is kind of hilarious. He usually just goes for grab or fakes it, and then fatals or grabs you. And his style of play is just like so straightforward and so consistent. And then when he hits you, you are dead. And it's just so funny to watch because it's kind of denying the fact that like Akihiko can't get in because Kubo always finds a way in. And then once he gets in, he just uses this very simple, very straightforward pressure that beats Dragon Punch, Roll, and Grab Tech. And then if you flinch, you are a dead man.
Could you tell me about that setup, actually? I'm curious.
Yeah, literally all he does is run forward, backdash.
Are you serious?
And then, yeah, I felt so stupid when I saw it because I had not thought of this. But if you run forward, backdash, it beats Dragon Punch, Roll, and Grab Tech.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. Thank you.
So if they do nothing, he reacts to it. And if they flinch, they're dead.
All right. Well, that's some new technology.
If you're interested in watching Kubo play, check Jordal's YouTube channel, Jourdal, and check the video called Mix Up Night 1 out of 3 through 3 out of 3.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Jordal will bring you the best of techs in Persona 4, so...
That's right.
Also, on the note of the simple style of Akihiko, I think part of that is also the game system mechanics that also add to its kind of simple style. In the sense that you cannot tech throws on reaction. I've tried that already multiple times.
You can't.
You can't. How I tested it out was, I think there's like a thread that says this is how you test if you can tech throws on reaction. And they put Narukami and Mitsuru running at you and doing these 3 random setups. If you can tech against these 3 random setups consistently, then you're godlike. If you can't, then that's human. I couldn't tech once.
No, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, you know how when you get hit low, there's a green excitement mark? And when you get hit high, there's a blue excitement mark?
Yes.
And when you get hit air unblockable, there's a yellow excitement mark?
Yep.
When you get hit by a grab, there's an excitement mark, too. It's not like that excitement mark is telling you tech. It's telling you, you got hit by a throw. Tech it next time.
Okay. Feels bad, yo.
The only confusion there is it comes up regardless.
And also, I like how Akihiko's health actually supports his simple style, where you can actually just run up to you and say, let's go 50-50. Meaty or throw. And it says, okay, well, you DP next time. If you DP, you're dead.
I counted the amount of 5Bs Kubo had in one round. He was just, like, pressing it, like, at footsies or, like, as a meaty setup or after framing it. He pressed it, like, probably 30 to 40 times in just 2 sets.
Because he's one of the damage.
Yeah, because if he hits a fatal, you're dead.
Yeah. And that's the evolution of Akihiko. Run and then backdash. You're welcome.
That's the technology that I couldn't figure out myself. I was like racking my brain, like how do I advance my Akihiko play? It's run forward backdash,
which has been in like Guilty Gear strategies forever. I think. I used to do that all the time.
I felt so stupid. I was like thinking about all these inputs, like all these option selects I could do with my finger. Just run forward backdash. That's actually a decent side point for just 1 second. Like sometimes, no matter how smart you think you are, or like how long you've thought about a character, make sure you watch other people play your character, especially if they're considered better than you.
Right.
Because you'll learn new things for sure.
And then you can just apply it and grow better as a player.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are there any other characters that you might consider possibilities for style changes or metagame changes?
Unquestionably Yosuke, but he's very, very hard.
Okay.
Once people master his movement and maneuverability, he is a very dangerous character, but in kind of an ironic sense in that he wins footsies so free, but doesn't do almost any damage with it.
Okay.
Well, so the funny thing is that at TNT, I was noticing that both LPN and ROM have both picked up Yosuke.
Yep.
And there are players who are totally used to the Yosuke style because LPN, he mains Cammy in Street Fighter 4, ROM, very well known for his Yang, And so, they're very much about using that mobility to get damage. And maybe the payoff isn't going to be enough for them. Maybe they'll switch out in the near future. But right now, like those two guys, I'm very interested in watching them grow with the character.
It will be very much up to how much time they're willing to invest in the game, because Yosuke is quite intricate and very unforgiving if you miss a single input. So if they get the and also just if you miss an input, like if you're trying to do his glide cancel and you miss the input, you just like set yourself up to get fataled.
Can you tell how you do the glide input, just for people who are interested? Go on.
It's air dash, jump down B, Kara canceled into air turn. So it's air dash, jump down B, A plus C.
Gotcha.
Very quick. And if you do it right, you will turn around and fly in a somewhat downwards arc towards your opponent and be able to act immediately. So you can fall in with a jump A or anything else that you might want, like an empty low, and you get crazy
high-low mix-up.
High-low mix-up and footsies at the same time. It's really dangerous.
But no damage.
Very low damage, yeah.
Right. Which is what distinguishes Broske from Arcsys. I'm so used to saying her in this game. But there's plenty of males.
The other thing that...
Oh my god.
The other thing that distincts Yosuke from Arcsys is that he likes Nickelback and she doesn't.
Well, you see... Is that actually proven?
Yes.
It's confirmed. No. It's in the background.
Okay, if someone could send me a link, I'll be sure to show it.
Just up Yosuke, no.
Okay. Any other character evolution possibilities?
I think that if people discover just one solid combo for Shadow Labrys, then she'll get there.
Okay.
But right, because everyone's saying that she just doesn't punish hard enough. But if she actually manages to get one solid punish, then
there's actually a pretty good development for Shadow Labrys recently.
Yeah, it's going.
That's good.
Stark uploaded a pretty fancy video about a vague cross-up setup and showed a couple ways to do a full combo into it. So that could really help her, depending on how high damage the follow-up is. I think in certain circumstances it can be a pretty decent reset, and it could raise the potential of the character a little bit. Something I like about Stark is she always finds a way to invent technology that is not irrelevant. Often looks really nice and is almost never redundant. Like, it's almost never technology that has already been invented somewhere else. So definitely check out Adelaide Stark if you're interested in the Shadow Labrys setup.
Okay. Well, I think that should be it. Should we move to the next question?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
So the next one actually is kind of related to style changes too. But how do you deal with these characters in Persona 4 that have these overbearing, like overpowering, overwhelming offenses? Specifically, we're going to be looking at Narukami, Chie. Those are two of the broad, the most like glaring examples. But also in another way, people like let me think, Shadow Labrys also, like characters who have crazy Oki setups, and how to learn how to beat those. And so, I'd like to throw this one to our master of disrespect first, Dastro.
Hello, Mr. Wake Up 2B.
Yeah.
Tech in the air, standing B. I saw that 3 times.
Yes, no, I use that much more than 3 times.
Okay.
I am actually well known to be very, very disrespectful of people's offense and defensive tendencies. So this is a good question for me. I like to use options that really test what my opponent is doing. Like, if I see my opponent likes to do some kind of jab into air unblockable thing, I might try neutral tech in the air, immediate standing 5B to see if I can fatal him out of his crouch B. And sometimes it works, and if I do, great, I just got 6,300 damage for it. And in the event that he hit the air unblockable, he's looking for something more like 3,000 to 4,000. So if I think that's kind of an even possibility, it's actually in my favor. If it's even just a 50-50 chance that he'll do what I think it is, it's in my favor.
Right.
So if I have noticed that kind of pattern, and I think that I can make the damage output work for me instead of my opponent, I'll definitely try to just, no fear, take that risk and see what happens, especially in casuals. If you're playing casuals, do whatever you want. The matches don't matter. I promise you they don't matter. If you're playing a casual game and you're just like thinking, how do I win this round always, you're going to lose some information because you're going to be playing more scared than you need to. If you're able to find some kind of crack in the armor during casuals, you're going to be able to win during tournament much more easily. So the most important 3 things that I would say to disrespecting someone's offense and defense is to look for patterns, don't be scared, and just take the risk. Just go for it.
Right.
Who cares?
This takes into account that humans are faulty. They make mistakes, right? So not all setups are 100% done correctly. Not all offense has 0 gaps, otherwise it wouldn't really be a mix-up sometimes. And your character has tons of life.
Right.
And
that does help.
I'm not jealous at all.
Actually, I'm sure this plays into my playstyle, but I have always accidentally picked high health characters. Between Bang in Blaze Blue, the Taskmaster in Marvel, to Akihiko in Persona, that has been very consistent. So I do think that factors into my playstyle. If you're playing a more fragile character, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful.
Let's see. How about we go ahead and ask Dom a question, since he's playing a character that highly disrespects Oki.
So actually, I was playing against Acid Bro at the end of NorCal Dogfights, and he was beating the crap out of me, but I was learning a ton because basically what I was practicing when I was playing against Acid Bro was I was just testing where in his Akihiko block strings I would be able to either do any of the following things: DP, throw him, or roll out. I was just in all of those things. They're just button combinations, and so while you're blocking, you can actually mash on those. It's just that if he hears you mashing, he'll start working around those. But now that he knows the run forward and backdash deck, maybe I can't do that anymore. But it
should help.
It was a matter of a lot of practice, where it was just like, okay, I think that right here he's going to be trying to do a, I think it's just called hook, isn't it? Yeah. I think he's going to hook here. That gives me a window where I'm not in block stun. I'm going to DP it. If you can actually start learning to do that on reaction to the hook animation. And there are other things in there. It's like, okay, I'm starting to see the pattern. Up against Chie, it's the same kind of thing. Although she leaves less intentional holes in the whole thing, it's still a matter of just you have to learn when the opportunity comes, and if the opportunity is not there, you have to be patient about it. And all of that is a matter of experience. Like, you have to get the experience with what they're going to do, how they're going to do it to you, and you have to just lose a lot before you'll learn.
So, Dom, how do you get out of Narukami or Chie's autopilot mix-up when you're playing Teddy?
What you do is you borrow Daryl's stick with the DP button.
The one that has a DP button?
Yeah, that one that only has a DP button, and you just hit that until your fingers bleed.
Okay. So if they set up like Sweep 5DD with either character, you could just press Dragon Punch with Teddy?
Sweep into 5D, I don't think so.
Really?
I have to test that a little more, but I think it depends on the setup. I think I have to go into the lab again, like just play Dark Talon for 2 hours.
Okay, I'll clarify for you, because I'm testing it out a little while ago actually. Any meaty setup and you press DP, Teddy's out of there. So sweep into meaty 5DD, Teddy's out of there. Sweep into meaty 2DD or 5DD with Chie, he's out of there. So then what you have to do to stop Teddy from disrespecting your offense is you do quote-unquote fake Oki.
You intentionally mistime it.
Yep, and then he whiffs, or rather your persona whiffs, and you punish him big time. For example, I can do all attack knockdown called 2D and press it only once. It whiffs, and then I get a fatal counter on him if he presses a reversal on wake up.
Nice.
Right. And then let me see, what else is there? Shadow Labyrinth, okay. If you try to make it meaty, he's gonna DP out, and then you're gonna be really sad. If you intentionally create a gap so you can cross up Vibrating Sheep, I mean, I hate you. So you can cross up.
Are you still angry that I beat you once?
No,
Really?
I'm not angry at all. So you can cross up Teddy, you can make it so his DP on wake up whiffs and you fatal counter punish him or whatever you like.
Got it.
There we go.
Speaking of Shadow Labyrinth, that's actually another character that people have a lot of difficulty with when Shadow Labyrinth gets going on offense. And I think the most important thing to realize is when you're blocking a lot of mix-up, you are truly guessing. You are literally guessing backwards block or forwards block in a lot of cases against Shadow Labyrinth. And if you're not guessing, you are just going to get hit. So make sure you are guessing there. Or like if you're trying to reaction block backwards, it's not happening. You're not going to be able to tell when they change from front to back in all cases, unless your opponent's timing's bad, in which case reaction all you want. But if you're finding yourself unsuccessful, make sure you are guessing. And the same could be said. These are actually the most important mix-ups to realize you are guessing for. You're guessing between counter hit or grab. You're guessing between certain vague high-low setups, and you're guessing between certain cross-up setups. And if you don't realize that you're guessing there, you're going to get hit a lot in ways you don't need to.
Right. Quick question, Dustin, in case you may have this in your head. Do you know what cross-up protection is? How many frames in this game?
I don't, actually.
Okay. I think if I remember correctly, Stark said first 1 to 2 frames of cross-up protection. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but when I was doing Shadow Labyrinth's meaty setups with 5C, and I tried to cross them up or not cross them up, they block it if I jumped over them or backdashed over them. Anyway, I'll test that out for later, but should I continue on with disrespecting the offense, or okay? Because I have a few more things.
Let me clear up what cross-up protection is really quick.
Okay.
If you are in block stun, the game will not let you be crossed up. So if you're blocking one way already, and like the persona is keeping you locked down, you don't have to worry about a cross-up in that situation because the game will block cross-up for you. You just have to worry about high-low.
Right. Oh, we got the confirmation from Hono. It is 2 frames of cross-up protection.
Cool.
No, he's trolling.
You know what? I'm gonna ban you, Hono. Damn it. Okay. Another possible way of disrespecting offense is Liz Donatos pressure / mix-up. Okay, so
the CCD,
yes,
like
so
strings.
CC, 2C, CC, D, CC, etc. Right?
Yep.
So some characters can disrespect this.
Some characters don't have to deal with it at all.
Okay, so how about you? That's it, bro.
For me, whenever I end up in a situation where Liz has pressed 5CC, I mash the hell out of crouching A, quarter circle back A.
Right.
Because that beats everything.
Okay, so let's explain why.
There are very few exceptions, but the reason it works is because I press crouching A, it beats a follow-up C, it beats command grab because I jab it out, and if she goes to super armor, I hit the super armor and then cancel into counter. So then from the counter, I'm able to follow up and beat the counter anyway. And beat the super armor anyway. So I beat all 3 of those options for free. There are very few exceptions, though. In the event that the Liz is very smart, she can recognize that. And when she does 5CC, after I break it, she can 1-frame resummon glitch and actually beat my counter follow-up.
Yes.
Because it's not intended to do that. But if she presses the super armor that doesn't cancel to anything else out of the super armor, I might end up in a stuck spot because of my counter follow-up. So it's important to recognize what's going on and recognize that maybe these setups aren't quite as solid as they look. Like most Liz players give up on it. But Pulsar, who I played in SoCal, did not give up on it and just made it continue to work anyway. Sometimes because his timing was very intelligent. Sometimes because he just did 5C 1 hit, in which case I can't do this if it's just between the 2 hits of C. So like really study your opponent's options, recognize what they do and don't beat, and then adjust accordingly. In the event that a Liz did 5C into mix-up, instead of 5CC into mix-up, I can't just autopilot that.
Perfect. Let me see. Another character that can disrespect this is actually Dom's lovable Teddy.
It's like crouching A Dragon Punch?
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then if shield hits, you teleport right behind Elizabeth and you smack her in the face.
Can Shea do that too then?
With what?
Crouching A Dragon Punch.
You could do that, but then you land and she punishes you.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
The way it works is that Teddy's will reposition you.
Mhm.
Chie's will make you fly up in the air like an idiot. And the thing is that
Ah. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it then. If you have 50 meter, you can press crouching A Dragon Punch, immediately super cancel the damage boost.
Exactly, and that'll make it safe.
Yeah.
Actually, I do meteors. I'm not sure if you're off
That
the
works
ground
too.
frame 1. But let me see. Sheep can do crouching... Sorry, Teddy can do crouching A, BD. If you see...
Call the character sheep.
it's just him, okay? He looks like Teddy to me. That's like...
what?
it works. Just trust me on this one. Anyway,
All right.
you can press
All right.
crouching A, and if you see the shield come out, which is 2C from Thanatos, you can press BD, and you're out of there. Nato can do the exact same thing. Standing A into BD, if you see the shield come out, and pop it, and shoot back at Elizabeth. For characters with a fast backdash, you can do instant air backdash to avoid, let me see, 2C. 2C is hitbox. D, which is the grab, and you cannot 5cc too fast after 5cc unless you use meter.
That actually makes sense because air backdash in this game has invulnerability.
Exactly. So I tested it out with Chie, and now I'm out of the mix-up, unless she spends 50 meter to hit me again, which kind of hurts. But yeah, that's something to do.
5cc rapid 5cc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's
No
see.
characters options.
It's scary, I know. Is there anything else on disrespecting offense or Oki that you might want to share with those?
Yeah, actually something really important.
Okay.
If you're not using it already, make sure you start to practice instant blocking.
Yes.
Because if you're not instant blocking, the frames of this game might not make any sense at all. Because, like, let's say you realize that you are trapped by Akihiko B-hook, and you're just going to end up blocking it. If you instant block it, it's the difference between the move is +3 and the move is +1. Now, if you're like a frame junkie, you know that that's a huge difference. With +3, I can do pretty much anything that I want. With +1, I'm a bit more limited. Alternatively, if I'm pressing jab with Akihiko and I'm very rhythmic about it, you can instant block that jab and it goes from +1 to -1. So if I'm +1, I get to do a lot of things that I want to, again. But if I'm -1, you actually have the right of way, like theoretically. Obviously, there's ways to trap that. If I just don't do 5A, 5A again, if I just do 5A standing B, you've actually frame trapped yourself. So there's pitfalls to instant blocking, but if you're not doing it, you're losing a lot of defensive capabilities, especially when you create a hole that does not previously exist.
Right.
The most important example I can give, just on a moment's notice, is Aegis Sweep in Orgia. If you instant block Aegis Sweep, you have the opportunity to press roll, you have the opportunity to press Dragon Punch, and that normally does not exist. It's a true block string otherwise.
And also on a note of instant blocking jabs like Chie or Akihiko, if I remember correctly, wasn't Mitsuru's standing grab 4 frames and her jumping grab 3?
That's right.
Okay. And how fast is Akihiko's jab?
Should be about 4 frames. I actually don't have the frame data for it.
Okay, so let's say 4 to 5-ish?
Something like that.
Okay, so that means if you press throw and you know he's going to dash jab again, you'll hit him. You'll grab him, actually.
Right.
There we go. So that's just some ways to get out of dash jab pressure, so it's not Street Fighter Cross Tekken or something.
Courtesy of a Japanese magazine scan, Sanada Akihiko's standing A is 5 frames.
Oh, wow. What magazine is this?
I don't know. I just see a scan on Image Shack right now that was posted by Will Jeff, as I call him now, Aginor.
Okay, that's perfect. If you
then
guys could link more of those, I'd really appreciate it.
I believe his crouching jab is 4 frames then, because I constantly get people telling me his jab is amazing.
Okay.
No, his crouching jab is also 5 frame startup.
Is that right? Must be a great hitbox.
Yeah. However, 5 frames is the fastest jab in this game. Narukami's jab is 5 standing, Chie's is 5 standing, Yosuke's is 5 standing, 6 crouching, and Akihiko's are both 5, and then Aegis's standing jab is 5.
Okay. The last bit of disrespecting offense / Oki that I want to talk about is what I saw recently with Lord Knight doing Wake Up 2B against Chie's pressure. Or rather, Chie's Oki options. So how this works, if I remember correctly, is if you do a combo and end in sweep with Chie, and you position yourself too far away from the opponent, mid-screen, 5DD does not hit MIDI. And because of that,
Right.
you can wake up 2B with Mitsuru and kill the persona and jump cancel, special cancel, whatever you want. How that also factors in is that some characters who have a fast enough jab can also disrespect Chie's Oki if they do random combo, sweep cancel 5DD. Narukami can wake up jab, Akihiko can wake up jab. I'm assuming Chie can wake up jab as well, and you disrespect that Oki. So how you set up Chie's offense correctly is you ideally want to be as close as possible and call 2DD so it's meaty as they wake up. If they DP, you block. If they press a button, they get hit, etc. If you do not have the luxury of being that close, your combo didn't allow it to, sweep, wait a bit, 5DD, I believe is meaty, and you cannot wake up 2B. I tested out with Mitsuru already. But the Oki options and pressure it gives afterwards is very, very limited. So that's just something for people who are having trouble against Chie.
Yeah, one thing to pay attention to specifically if you're playing Chie in that scenario is that if you jump forward and try to block like normal on sweep delay 5DD, you'll actually get hit out of Dragon Punch. Like Dragon Punch will let you out of chicken block. So it does not safe jump Dragon Punches quite as easily. Just make sure you pay attention to that.
Okay, I think that's covered everything. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
so our next topic is about offense instead of defense, and this is a general question to the newer player, which is how do I do these giant damage combos I keep seeing on the internet?
I think it's a simple question of work ethic. If you see the combo and have a reference for the inputs, the only thing that's keeping you from doing the combo is your own fingers. So I would say go through the motions, see if you can replicate it. If you can't, get in contact with someone who can help you to work through it. And in the event that you don't have the luxury of friends, I respect that. That's fine. Some
Okay.
people just don't have any friends. Then you're gonna have to do this a bit more honest because you don't have any help for it. But I promise you, it can be done. I too have had no friends before and was forced to do these combos all on my own. And with enough varied timing, you can figure it out, basically. Like, just every time you do it, recognize why it's not working, what you need to change for it to be more accurate to the replica that you're aiming for, and just keep changing it until it actually does work.
That's it. I'm so proud of you. You have so many friends now.
Yeah, I've come a long way.
Yeah, you have.
So my advice on this one, completely ignoring what's going on over there on your side of this thing,
Okay.
is that a lot of what people would call swag combos, blah blah blah, they're all off of fatal counters. Those are always your best damage in this game. And
Sure.
well, okay, notable exception would be, I guess, Naoto, since Naoto doesn't need a fatal counter to start the SMP loop.
Go on, anyway.
But anyway, so the whole thing is that fatal counters are a very predictable starter for you, and once you get the first hit, they're very easy to confirm. And so the one thing that will translate to your net play, to your live matches, to your casuals the most is practicing how to hit your fatal counter, practicing what to do after you hit your fatal counter. Don't just go, oh man, awesome, fatal counter, now what am I supposed to do again? Crap.
Yeah, you should already be like, I'm gonna hit this fatal counter. Before the fatal counter hits, be buffering the next move. Like, it's just an autopilot process after that.
Also, I'm not the biggest fan of swag combos. I love seeing them, but I don't really practice them. How you see those YouTube videos come out, usually... Let me see, how should I put this? If you would like to apply a YouTube combo in real scenarios, right? Usually it's going to be off of punishing DPs, in my opinion. And in this game, when pressure is really strong, DPs, in my opinion, come out more often than any other game I've played. Because of things like Narukami's pressure, Chie's pressures, Akihiko's pressure, etc. So you can learn your swag combo, you can execute it. How do you land it? You bait a DP and get that damage out. That's just something to put out there.
Yeah, and something to add to that, I think a lot of people misunderstand the function of these stylish combos. Like, when I was playing Marvel, I was one of the first Dante players in Northern California to actually get like a real relatively optimized combo down back in the vanilla days where we all thought like, whoa, the Marn combo, that's such a good combo. It's just like buttons Killer Bee, buttons Skydance into super. So I learned a better combo than that, and everyone was like, wow, Dacid, that's such a cool combo. But what I was thinking to myself is, I only learned this combo because it's the lowest possible effort I can do to actually kill someone in one hit. So whenever I learn a combo, I'm thinking, what do I actually need from this combo? And if this combo is too difficult, I won't do it if the reward is like another 100 points of damage, right? Like if I have 3 more spots I could drop the combo, I might not take that over a combo that does 100 less damage because practically there's no difference. But in the event that it's like 1,000 damage difference, I have to learn that new combo because that is a very relevant number. So I'm just looking for what does the most practical damage in any combo. I am against stylish combos in tournament play. I've seen too many people drop them.
And that was
even the gods.
Yeah.
Even the gods. Like I was playing against Nezu in Japan, like the Bang legend, and he dropped so many of his Furingazan combos. He's like the Bang most famous for these, and he was still dropping them. I think that really says something.
But yeah, that's something that we really should tell people more often is keep it simple.
Yeah.
You should have 3 different combos in mind at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
You should have one that leads into a knockdown.
Sure.
You should have one that leads into the corner.
Sure, I agree with that.
And you should have one that does as much damage as you can possibly get without worrying about your hands messing it up.
Yeah,
Those are the
I like
3
that list.
combos that you should learn.
I definitely agree.
And in terms of style combos, if you see one of those really stylish combos on the internet, what you can really do, if you're not sure how practical it is, ask the creator and say, hey, how practical is this? And usually they'll answer you really honestly saying, this isn't that practical. It needs you to do this, it needs you to do this, it needs you to do this.
And then Desk will come out of nowhere and says, I can do that with my feet.
And then he won't ever win a tournament.
Exactly. That's okay.
But it's
It
one of
says
those
something,
things-
though.
Yeah, he'll be honest about it, though. He'll be like, yeah, this isn't practical, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to discern between the practical and the impractical. For example, sometimes it's the lamest looking combo that's the most practical. Hey, I'm Red Axe Labras. I'm going to hit AA, I'm going to dash, I'm going to hit AA, I'm going to dash, I'm going to hit AA again. And now you're in the corner. And you know what? That's really practical. It looks dumb, but it's good. It is.
Thankfully, she does have better combos, but that is definitely a good starter combo for it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, all I want to do is get you into the corner. Okay, let's do that.
Any other advice for big damage combos?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
I was thinking something like, pay Marlon Pie as your tutor. I must always swag.
Yeah, that is an example of a tournament player doing horrifically difficult combos for absolutely no reason and still winning matches.
But sometimes, though, there.
Sometimes he doesn't.
Yes. Okay. Anyway. Let's hit the next topic, if possible.
Yeah, the next topic is actually related to growth in the community. We haven't been podcasting for 2 weeks now, and in between we've had a couple of really interesting events when it comes to getting those together.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be, let's see, there was Capital Fight District, if you guys want to talk about that, up in Sacramento.
Okay. Capital Fight District had about 24 players from Sacramento, Davis, the Bay Area, and the 707 area, and had a pretty good turnout. I believe Myung did sponsor a few players. Was that true?
Yes, he sponsored Pain, 2 GB Combo, Apology Man, and of course myself.
All right, there we go. And competition was some of the strongest in NorCal, and definitely really happy people came out there.
Yep.
Let's see, what other venues happened?
We just had Fraud Free Fridays this last week.
There we go.
Which is obviously normally a Marvel tournament hosted by F-Champ, Shady K, PR Rog, and the missing in action, almost always Hello Kitty Ricky. But this week, Champ was going to be at PAX, so he offered, why don't we just hold a Persona tournament this week? Since obviously the game is doing really well, and that's the only way a game could ever get Champ's interest. Persona was a good choice for it. So he gave over the reins to me and Shady and Rose, and we hosted a tournament. I had a 16-man invitational. I invited every top player I could think of from NorCal. Most people could make it, some of them couldn't. But in the event that they couldn't, I was able to find replacements, thank God. There are a lot of people that actually want to play this game right now, or that could have been very difficult because I had 3 days' notice. So I'm really glad that people showed up. It was the most last minute possible, but we had a great time. We had a great tournament. The top 3, top 4 matches were all really good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in terms of growth of the community, how does Fraud Free Friday factor into that?
Well, it's a statement. It's saying that FGTV is not ignoring this game anymore. About 3 weeks ago, there was the very famous YouTube video of Champ saying really, really dumb shit about Persona, and I told everyone, don't take this too seriously. He's going to bounce back when the game's successful. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, we have on his Twitter, I'm going to play Persona for the money, talking on Ultra Chen TV. And it's exactly how Champ works. If the game has money, there is just no question that he will play it. So for the game to be at Fraud Free Fridays says that FGTV is looking at this game.
Perfect. All right. Let me see. Are there any other well-known players like Champ that are also picking up the game? Who don't normally? Go on.
PR Rog and Ricky were both talking to me about Mitsuru.
Mm-hmm.
Rog is already well on the way to being a good Mitsuru. Just needs stronger combos in general and to understand the game mechanics. Ricky's probably not so close to being good at the game yet, but in the event that he decides to learn it, I bet he could learn it in a day because Ricky is just unnaturally talented like that.
Mm-hmm.
Shady K is already pretty good at Narukami. He has been playing the game on NetPlay as far as I can tell, and has learned quite a bit about the game.
Mm-hmm.
Rom is playing Yosuke, but told me he might switch to Mitsuru, which I wouldn't blame him for. LPN has been playing Yosuke as well. Pretty much every player that went to Thursday Night Throwdown was playing the game or watching the game.
Yep.
So I'm kind of running out of names on my list, but it's not because there's not enough people to name. It's more that I just don't remember who everyone was playing.
Okay.
Also, let's see. There's Derry was playing at Thursday Night Throwdowns. He was enjoying it, playing kanji.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Juicebox Abel is, well, Juicebox whatever he wants to be now these days. He was really into KOF, and now he's actually really into Persona.
Cool. Alex Valle got second at a Washington tournament.
Oh, very nice.
I think he only got second to Huey.
He also was playing at PAX. He was just like, he had all of the games available to him at PAX, and he's like, I'm playing Persona.
Yeah, his Akihiko is really cool.
And he also took a picture of this amazing Teddy cosplayer who was inside of the actual Teddy costume and in another Teddy costume. It was Teddyception.
Oh my god.
But, let's see here. I'm trying to figure out who Juicebox would play in Persona. Like, who lets him dance the most? I mean, there's Kanji. Kanji lets him pose a lot when he's supering.
That's true.
I'm gonna guess Chie, actually, because it's...
Chie has a lot of good poses, that's true.
Close to King of Fighters. That's why Renaud and Bala are playing Chie. A lot of movement options and poses.
Right. No, that's a good thought.
Now, actually, moving a little bit away from top players, I actually want to talk again about NorCal Dogfight, which in last night, not 2 nights ago, was the first time I've actually been able to attend one of those.
Okay.
And that's actually exactly the kind of event that I've been talking about. So big props to Alex DeCania. And who else was it who runs that? I think it's it's not Manabe or Shelled Menace, is it? What they were helping run the stream.
Is it
no,
AJ?
Shelled Menace was. But anyway, so the whole point is that that's exactly the kind of event that really helps bring players in because it's no pressure. Like, there is just no pressure to win at all. You're always going to be playing against people of your own skill level because that's the way the ranking battles work. where you're just constantly playing, and it feels like casuals, but it has actual, like, enough of a competitive spirit because people want to see the ranking go up. They want to, they want to level up, and, there is literal leveling up in the Danisen style. And so, I was actually really motivated when I was playing there. I'm like, I need to get better just so I can feel better about myself here. I don't want to win. I don't really feel a pressure to win, but I want to win. And that's exactly the kind of thing that helps bring in the casual player.
Yeah. Just to backtrack one second, NorCal Dogfights features a Danisen, which is basically a ranked match where you are competing against other players in a large series of casual matches where you choose however many you want, small or large, and you play against people of equivalent skill level according to your rank that is actually determined by points earned from wins. So in the event that you win, you get a point. In the event that you lose a point. And you will go up and down through the ranks until your skill level is somewhat literally defined in your community, where you can literally see people's progress. You can literally see people's skill level in kind of an arbitrary number, but a number that has meaning nonetheless. And what's nice about it is it gives casual players a more intense experience than non-tournaments, but there's no wait either, because in the event that you lose, you can literally just play right away again.
Perfect. And since we're on the topic of, NorCal venues and community, the next thing that's going to happen, I believe, is Game Center P4U Weeklies, which I just made a flyer for.
I know Myung is very serious about this tournament. This is going to be the NorCal Persona, like the most important, consistent NorCal Persona tournament. I imagine that he will have some kind of bonus. I don't know what it would be yet, but I know he's very serious about this tournament, and he will take it very seriously.
Yes. For people who are interested, it's every Friday at Game Center, which is located at 47 South B Street, San Mateo, California, 94402, at 8 p.m. PST. If you cannot make it to the venue, you can always watch on twitch.tv/finestko. You can also follow them at facebook.com/GameCenterArcade or twitter.com/GCArcade. At the moment, I've talked to Myung about it, and it's just going to be Persona 4 Arena for the time being. But in the future, he's saying there could be like a voting system to add more games into it, based on interest. So, for example, this every Friday at Game Center, weekly, could be Persona 4 Arena and maybe Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Or it could be King of Fighters 13. Or it could be Sailor
Magical
Moon.
Drop.
Exactly.
Phantom Dust.
Or something like that, right? Based on people's votes. But it's experimental, the second game at least. You can always count Persona 4 Arena, though. And I believe there's one last thing I want to say before we transition to our very last topic of the day, okay?
Okay. Me too on this subject.
Go ahead.
I was going to mention that there's actually a tournament in the East Bay coming up called Tuesday Takedown.
Tuesday Takedown, okay.
And due to popular demand, it is starting tomorrow. So if you're in the East Bay, definitely look into it. And it is having Persona just because of popular demand. Okay. It was originally going to be Marvel and Street Fighter, but enough people commented on the Facebook page that they couldn't really make it if it wasn't Persona, that he wanted to put Persona into the very first day. So if you're in the East Bay, check it out. The Facebook page is Tuesday Takedown.
Perfect. And the very next event that's happening fairly soon is the Super NorCal Install Tournament, which is going to be on twitch.tv/finestko at 2 p.m. PST. It happens on September 8th, and it's pretty much a NorCal major. We have BlazBlue Extend, Persona 4 Arena, Score Girls, and King of Fighters 13, and the venue is Game Center. Players from NorCal, Pacific Northwest, and maybe some players from SoCal will be making it up here. And hopefully you can watch and see some high-level play from all the players from around. Okay, so now we can finally move into the last topic, and I think it makes sense. How do you... Oh, go on.
Sorry. I was wanting to say, it's like, thank you, by the way, Based Rod, Honno, for this question, because it was one of the ones that we were actually really interested in.
There we go.
It is, how do you get the uninitiated to buy into the game? And we have one of the keys, which Dacenbro just mentioned right now. Which is, tell people that you want the game. A lot of these guys are running events so that they can get people to come out, and so you need to prove to them that people will come out for it. And was it Tuesday Night Takedowns it's called?
Yeah. And in this specific case, the guy running it, Dilo Mack, he's a cool guy. But I basically told him I really can't make it to this event if Persona is not in the real lineup because I'm working on a pretty limited budget, and I can't just show up to the event just to support it. So I kind of like bartered with him, saying like, I mean, this will work out better for both of us, but like, please put Persona in the lineup. I promise people will come, and I can actually make it then, and I'll have a much better time at the event as a result of it. If you don't make your voice heard for the game, it won't be possible for anyone to understand that there is that kind of interest. In the case with Dilo Mack, he wasn't sure, but enough people in a row said, please have Persona in the event, that he was just very willing to put it in the event.
Meanwhile, yeah, so what else have we been, we've been talking about how to get people who are interested to get into the game, but what about people who aren't necessarily interested, and that's a really good topic.
Well, a quick fun one is there's obviously money in this game. SKD's picture of just an unholy amount of bills, and I think it was over $2,000 from Summer Jam. That caught a lot of interest, and there have also been relatively prevalent rumors that say this game might get picked up by hotter circuits. So that and the other tournaments, it has begun to snowball this kind of undeniable fact that there is grand potential for money in this game, and that has caught the interest of people like Filipino Champ, FGTV, players that maybe otherwise would have said, I'm not 100% sure about this game, now have that extra strong incentive to play it.
Right. And then if you are interested in building up a certain style that you're weak in, there's so many styles in Persona 4 Arena that you could pick up a grappler, a zoner, a high damage mixed-up character, etc. And you can essentially use this game to practice for other games if you're interested in fast-paced fighters.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, I think Rod said that he could use this game to practice for Guilty Gear, actually. And it makes sense because they're both Arcsys. But I mentioned before in one of the earlier podcasts how certain styles can benefit you as a player from a different kind of game. So if you were a Capcom player, you might notice that a lot of Capcom players move to Mitsuru and they feel really at home with that. Pavo, aka Illiterate, said that to me actually. And it's having a DP, having good normals, and having good spacing that clicks with them. And that's how Mitsuru works with the Street Fighter players. And then, like I said earlier, King of Fighters players seem to like Chie a lot for the movement, the pressure, the Oki, the high-low mix-up that's pretty hard to react to. And then you also have Akihiko, and people who like to do big man damage. Like, is that the correct phrase?
Are
No.
you saying that I like dude damage?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What's the correct term?
Real Soviet damage?
That's not it. No,
God,
no.
no.
Okay, that's it, bro. You remember the term, right? What does Combo Fiend do?
No, I don't know.
You don't remember? Give me a second. Crap, I got a brain fart, man. I'm not saying you like dudes. Fucking chat.
Combo Fiend likes to punch people in the face until
Grown
they stop
ass
getting up
man.
again.
Damage
Yeah,
a grown ass man.
true.
There we go. See? If you want to deal that kind of damage, you go to Akihiko, aka Combo Fiend. You should go to Akihiko right about now.
I actually told him he should play Akihiko, but he seemed to really like Labris, so...
Oh, there we go.
Regular Labris or Shadow? Because he was on Shadow for a little
Both.
while.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Okay.
That said, where were we again?
You were talking about character styles,
Right, and how
you can pick one that either suits your style of play, or you can learn a new one.
Right. Marvel players can pick Shadow Labris as well, and
Yeah.
it goes on and on. So that's how players can pick up this game to practice for other games, or maybe they just see their relevant character type that they can just pick and play.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of venue, you just have to prove to the people it's like there's a space that you can come into. You know, you can become the center of this, and you can become a part of a real growing community. And so, you know, some places are really buying into that because the organizers of the events are going, well, this will bring people to my establishment or to my event. So it's stupid of me to ignore it, even whether or not, you know, whether or not I personally like the game or not. Mr. Wizard has said this very publicly. It's like, look, I don't like the game. You guys are making fun of me for not liking the game, whatever. I have never said at any point that I am prejudiced against this game and will not bring it to my event.
But he has said that about Cross Tekken. He has very specifically said there will not be Cross Tekken.
Yes. But that's not necessarily his personal bias. That was basically in response to
The
all the
community.
things we've been talking about. Attendance, viewership, commitment to the game, popularity. All of those things are things that contribute to whether or not they're going to be in majors or, esports or whatever you want to call it. And so it's just a matter of you have to prove that you're willing to support this game. And, the three of us here have done it in our own various ways, but it's going to take a lot more than, us and our 230 listeners. And so that's why we keep saying it's like evangelize this game. It's a good game. It appeals to so many different demographics of gamer. And that's why we're so excited about it. That's why we're supporting it so hard, is that we're all enjoying the hell out of this game.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
anyway. So yeah, let's see. Is that about it for that topic, you guys?
I think so.
I think so.
Okay. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Unless we have a couple of last. No, we've got an hour. We should wrap this up. So that about wraps it up. Thanks, guys, for listening to the One More podcast on finestko. We will see you again. Koopa, if you can put up the schedule, we will see you again for Persona at the very least on Friday. All three of us will be there, right, Koopa? Right?
For sure. I'll be there. I'll be the one streaming it, of course.
Yeah.
And then the day after, we'll have Super NorCal install.
All right.
So take it easy. We'll see you next week on Monday.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Oh, hang on.
Whoop. Are you going to do it?
Do what?
Is Che on the screen now?
What? No.
Is that what happened?
No. What are you talking about?
I'm starting to understand you, Koopa.
Yeah, we're starting to read that mix-up.
Okay.
Your high-low Chie mix-ups are getting predictable, man.
Oh, okay. I'm getting predictable, huh? Let's change it
You're getting
then.
predictable.
Let's change it. You're saying you don't like Chie on you, huh?
Good night, everyone.
What? No. Don't.